Hey you guys, how are you doing? I don't have a whole lot for the day here. It's been a bit of a session. However, I want to show you some short-term silver, also a long-term Renko silver. Very interesting stuff happening there. And I want to show you Bitcoin. The reason why I want to show you Bitcoin is because Bitcoin is a big player. It's not, a nobody. And we ought to see big volatility come in. And it looks like it could be to the downside. Remember, Bitcoin, many banks and companies are involved with crypto and Bitcoin. So these are big companies, right? I think MicroStrategy is 100 billion. And if they start to struggle for some reason due to falling Bitcoin prices, that could actually do contagion into other sectors. So that's one to watch, really. And that would also be a huge risk off. Bitcoin is the ultimate liquidity / risk on, risk off indicator. I will show you that in just a minute here. But before that, we're going to talk about silver. And I wanted to spend 10 minutes, for this video here, keeping it very, very brief. So silver, as you know, peaked there at roughly 55. Again, what happened there, which we also talked about on the Substack, you can see that we basically produced a pretty darn textbook head and shoulder. And we broke down there like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The measured move, you can see that. We extrapolate that from the breakdown point, which gives us 47. Right, 47 roughly is that level. If I'm doing this correctly, 1 second here. I need to go to the log scale. That's why I know the numbers didn't match. The breakdown point right there, right? We're going to remove that and we copy that to the breakdown point, and you can see that's what we got. That was our level. So the measured move from that topping pattern right there got hit right there with overperformance, right? We checked back to that measured move, and then we had one more little puke. And I guess if you were using RSI or whatever indicator, you're getting positive divergence there. But again, RSI and all that, is used incorrectly in my view by basically, well, a lot of people. So we don't really care about RSI. And what happened then? Again, we broke back above, back tested it and rally. And you can see here we also had a little head and shoulder at the bottom, right? Very clean. Higher high above the swing moving average, which is the 30, pulled back to that neckline, making a higher high again. So we are trying to see, and we are seeing a sign that, hey, we might have a bottom here for silver. Again, it's a bit too early to say, but we are seeing also a downtrend breakage, right, from the highest point to the right shoulder down to this grinding here, and then we finally broke and back tested that breakout point while we were doing a bottom structure on the 2 hourly. This is basically 2 days of trading, so it's very short term. And make no mistakes, the long-term macro picture for silver is godly, and you will see that in a minute also. What I could see happening here, we are kind of looking a little bit ahead, and that is this could be a little lefty shoulder. This would be a head again, and then we have some sort of right shoulder here. We might go all the way to here and make the right shoulder. If that's the case, if we get some sort of neckline at roughly 49, right, if we have some sort of neckline coming in, then the bottom short term comes more and more into play, because then we can do the measured move, which takes us roughly to 53. So the 2 hourly here on silver looks somewhat strong. Let's see. Of course, there are still some vibes that, hey, this could be some sort of channel here, and if that breaks to the downside, maybe we shall definitely see. But there is still, we're not totally out of the woods just yet here. But again, after a 20% move down, roughly, again, there are signs of a bottom here. Do we get that? Maybe. But this is also where you start to buy some bullion again. You're getting a 16% discount from just a few weeks ago. And make no mistake, silver is going to go way, way, way higher. And again, the good thing is, let's say we don't produce a bottom here, or we somehow fail to hold it. Again, we could go down, you know, have a bigger move down, and then you start to look for same kind of bottom here. Then you're going to say, hey, I'm going to buy more bullion. Remember, we're only talking bullion here, because the bigger move, which is to come, that is into triple digit and beyond. And I want to show you a really cool Renko chart here. Renko really removes all the noise. And you can see here the Renko high, which is 48. 48 there. We broke out. We are back testing now. And keep in mind that 2-hourly bottom we're trying to produce at that 48 level, right thereabout. This could be a breakout backtest resumption kind of scenario. If that happens, then we're gonna see 100, and that could be very quickly. Don't take, you know, the time into the Renko chart. You can't use time there. It's basically only price sensitive. So that is silver. Long-term macro, it's going to be one of the best plays we have seen in a very, very, very long time. Also the miners and gold and platinum. Short-term, 2-hourly, signs of a bottom, which we, again, if this is the move down, if this is the only thing that can be produced, I'll take it. 60%, you know, smash. If that's all that they can do, I'm actually quite pleased. But we shall see. The good thing is, though, we have short-term downtrend breakage for now. That is, you know, the first step to that move higher again. Cool. Now Bitcoin. Yes, good old Bitcoin. Yeah, we're going to go to the monthly. I'm going to show you something a bit dangerous for Bitcoin. And also, one thing that I've been showing a few times, if you were to look up Amazon, the 2 years leading up to the dot-com, I think it's 2 years leading up to the dot-com bubble, this is the exact fractal, the absolute exact fractal. And what it produced when it broke down was a 95% drawdown, which would, you know, take us down to roughly 95. Do we get 95? That would be 5K. 5K, that is a big move down. Again, are we going to see that? I don't know. But I think it's very interesting that we have these impulses here, which are 3 major swing highs, which you can see on Amazon as well. You know, leading up to the dot-com bubble is the exact same. And then we had this 4th high, but that was basically a channel like that. It was basically a channel up. And once that gave in, it was game over for quite a while on Amazon. Of course, now it's many, many, many multiples higher, I know. But a breakdown from this here, I think the level, let's call it even Steven and say like 100. It's a bit higher, but let's call it 100. Seems to be, again, going from 3 to 2 digits. If this is the same fractal, and it emulates or imitates that fractal from Amazon, the 2-3 year fractal on Amazon, this could contage big time, because again, Bitcoin is not a small guy. It's, you know, you can see here it's 2 trillion, and then you have all the other stuff which is like 3-4 trillion. You have MicroStrategy, you're having some banks, you're having, you know, ETFs, you have a lot of big guys invested into crypto. And I've been saying all the time for many, many years that I'm 100% sure basically that crypto, one way or the other, is here to stay. However, like any new player / technology, you know, the internet, the dot-com bubble, every new player or new sector needs a cleansing, because there is a lot of crap. You know, the coins that we're seeing, just like we saw at the dot-com bubble, you had a lot of crap, you know, with very, very high evaluations. You know, pet.com, for instance, is the most known one. It was worth billions and billions, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, they went bankrupt, like everything, you know, basically everything at that time, because as long as you had a .com in your name or whatever, you were basically rising. And that's the same here with crypto / AI. Again, with AI, I'm very, very confident that it's here to stay. It's a massive industry. It's so beneficial. There's a lot of upside and potentials with AI. but we need a cleansing. Every company is putting AI into their yearly reports and quarterly reports because they know that that will produce upside due to algos and people reading that. So be very careful here if we start to trade below that 1K mark, unless that is one of the biggest fakes you have seen in a very long time. That is most likely the beginning of a very, very big move down on BTC USD. So what I've done here is I've just, got the fractal from Amazon. Remember, this is roughly 2 years worth of uptrend, but don't take too much into the account, the time of it. I just wanted to show you that here we have that first impulse. Here we have the second, and also look at these similarities, by the way. Very, very similar fractal here and there. Same here, move up and move higher. Move up, move higher while you have the low there in the middle. And then you correct it, and then comes the important thing. Look at the grinding there on the current Bitcoin price, and look at the similar kind of thing going on there. Right, this is very, very interesting, and if you look at it, again, I want to zoom out so you can see it. It is actually quite scary that you have the same fractal here. And this Amazon here was a new technology like the dot-com bubble, the internet, right? And even before we really started to enjoy the, the benefits of the internet, it had a 75% drop, and then of course it went ham and went way, way, way higher. But could we see that big, big, big cleansing, like a massive cleanse in crypto first, right? I think so. If we break down, that is. And also, if we zoom in here, my last and final screen will be, look at where we are with the wedge that we have been looking at for quite a while. We are going to have resolution very, very shortly. Right, you can draw this multiple ways. You have a wedge from there. You also have a bit of a more downsloping wedge there. But the name of the game is, you can see it here very clearly. We do not want to lose, let's call it 100K for Bitcoin. That would be a bigger breakdown, right? That would be a big breakdown. You're losing moving averages, you're losing the uptrend from 2023 and all that good jazz. So again, let's see what's going to be produced here by Bitcoin. It's very interesting, and I'm not involved in crypto now. I've only been that twice. On a larger scale, I have a little bit of, XLM and XRP, but just to have it basically. But I think if we get that big move down, the investment opportunity that we get wherever it bottoms out is also going to be one for the generation where you can really make some profit. That's it, guys. I have nothing more. Have a great day. Again, on YouTube, like and subscribe. Join me on Substack. Join me on Twitter. And we will try to make the best of this gold and silver bull market and platinum and all that good jazz. So have a great one, guys. Cheers.